Hi. Hi. Am I audible? So sweet. Thank you. Hi. Okay. So I think we have enough people. So I'll just start this session uh, by taking the questions that you guys wrote in. We have 3 questions. First one was how to determine lady luck in a birth chart, and is lady luck a real thing? Okay, so what's lady luck? Keeping the gender aside, lady luck basically is a spouse who already has good luck in their consciousness, and when you interact with them, like you go on a date or you get physically intimate with them, uh, their luck rubs off on you. It is true. It is a real thing in Vedic astrology, and it works both ways. There is no only a lady can bring luck. It's even true for a lady attracting luck through marrying a man. Okay, so how is that even true? So even in the post I've mentioned that your 7th house in your D1 chart is your spouse. It's their consciousness which exists in you, but it's dormant. It only gets activated when you meet them, but it's very much a part of your consciousness. So in a way you can say that if you have that luck within you but it's not active, it can get activated if it's activated in your partner. Okay, so also your D9 chart, which is Navamsha chart, which is also known as the birth chart of your spouse, is also your birth chart after the age of 40. So it's that closely integrated. Your second half of life is your spouse's identity, and vice versa. Okay, now do we exactly manifest a person with our D9 chart? No, we come very close to it, but the attraction is felt and the intensity varies. So which is why synastry is done to check the compatibility. How close does that person come to your D9, your ideal second half? Okay, so yes, your spouse can change your luck. Yes, for good or for bad, but it can definitely change your luck. Now the second part of the question was how do you calculate that? Okay, so this is a bit technical, so if you like to take notes you can. You have to see condition of D9 Lagna Lord, D9 7th Lord, and D9 9th Lord in your D1 chart. Then you have to check the condition of D1 Lagna Lord, D1 7th Lord, and D1 9th Lord in D9 chart. Okay, 7th house and its Lord, I'm including all the aspects. If you consider all the aspects, negative, positive, then check the condition of D1 Lagna Lord, D1 7th Lord, and D1 9th Lord in D9 chart. Then you have to check the condition of marriage Karaka, which is Venus. If you identify yourself as male, you could be any gender, but if you identify yourself as masculine, your marriage Karaka would be Venus. And if you identify yourself as a female or a more feminine energy, then you need to check the condition of Jupiter and Mars, both. Okay, a lot of people only say you should check Jupiter, but if there is no Mars, there won't be any attraction, and without attraction nothing can ever initiate. You need that initiation energy from Mars. So that's important. The fourth point would be planets that are around the 7th house lord and planets in 7th house of D9 chart. All that you need to check and analyze. Whatever resonates throughout would be quite close to what you could manifest. Then there is another interesting approach in Gemini astrology. It's called Dharakaraka. Dharakaraka is basically the planet which has the lowest degree in your D1 chart. So you end up attracting energy that's deficit in you. Basically, that's the logic behind it. So that will also give you a little more insight into what kind of partner you should be or could be attracting. Then Upabda Lagna is something that Gemini astrology vouches for. There is a way to calculate Upabda Lagna and study all the houses for prosperity, for longevity of marriage, will the partner bring in wealth. So all those, it's like a proper chart that will tell you all aspects of your marriage or partnership. Whenever I say marriage, just you can substitute it for live-in relationship or companionship. It should be sexual in nature. Yes, now the important disclaimer over here is that the condition and strength calculation, just make sure you take into account if it's in its own sign, if the planet is in its own sign, if it's exalted. And exalted means there is a specific degree assigned for exaltation and debilitation. So you need to check that if the planet, and only if the planet is within that degree in that particular house, then it will be debilitated or exalted. Otherwise, we will just read it normally. The other aspect will be whether the Lord is in Mool Trikon house, that is 1st, 5th and 9th, or is it in Kendra house, that is 4th, 7th or 10th, and or it receives positive aspects from friendly or compatible planets. So all these things will determine how powerful the Lord is. And also one important point is that if you've checked this with your D1 chart, suppose you find out that in your D1 chart the 7th Lord is weak. It does not mean it will remain weak. If it's exalted in Navamsha, that means throughout your life it's gaining strength. So it will not give bad results. So D1 and D9 needs to be studied extensively to get insights into whether you can bring in a partner that can change your luck. Hope that clears this. The other question was just general interpretation of Rahu in the 7th house. This is going to be really vague because, like I said, there's so many tiny aspects that you need to consider before giving out any predictions. But take what resonates. You should just remember, if you have Rahu in your 7th house, whatever I'm going to say might ring true even if you have Rahu in the 1st house. Why? Because Rahu aspects 7th aspect. So wherever it sits, it has a 7th house aspect. So if it's sitting in the 1st house, it will be affecting your 7th house. So Rahu in 1st or 7th house, the native can be lazy, short-tempered, unwilling to adapt in stressful situations. Native could also be living in foreign lands, or the spouse could be living in foreign lands. Therefore, there could be themes of long distance relationship experienced by you or your partner. Depends, like some people do not even consider long distance as a problem, but for some people it's really painful. Most likely Rahu in this axis, 1st and 7th house axis, or even Aries and Libra, you could experience immense yearning irrespective of distance if you have Rahu there. You or your partner could be into investigative field or research field, or just very popular. Rahu can sometimes also signify death, because death is also separation. Rahu is basically fog or maya or illusion. So it can go two ways. If you're not spiritual, your fears can be projected onto your partner and you can ruin your relationship. If you are spiritual, then the relationship can still work out. So it depends. How have you mastered your anxiety? Have you risen above your fears, especially related to attachment? So Rahu basically can just be whatever you want it to be. So the question is about how well versed are you with yourself. So instead of going to a tarot reader or an astrologer and asking about what partner will I have, what they will be like, try to go inwards. The more clarity you have about yourself, the more clear your relationships will be. Rahu can also, the experience Rahu can give in 7th or 1st house or Aries or Libra is that it creates obsession because things are unclear, right? So you can be obsessed about finding out what the truth is, and you could be lusting for your partner. You could be stalking your partner. Yes, that can also happen. And then if it's a healthy placement, usually what the pattern is that you get too involved in your partner's life, you forget who you are, it creates anxiety, and then you want to leave. So boundaries is a very important theme with Rahu. Also, you can attract emotionally unavailable people if you have Rahu in 1st house or 7th house, or Rahu in Aries or Libra. Like, you would never know the reality because you're living in a haze. So you could be drawn to someone, you could date them for 3-4 months, sometimes even a year, and then you find out that the woman has a child, or she's married, or the man is married. That can also happen with Rahu. It also can signify your past life. Like in your past life, you were constantly developing your identity, and you were sacrificing relationships, or you prematurely left relationship, or you ghosted people, and now it's payback time. So you now need to activate that suppressed side of yours, which you have been denying for the pursuit of being ideal and doing self-mastery. So that's also one theme. It can also give hidden diseases like cancer, unwanted pregnancies. You can catch STDs from your partner meaning anyone you have sex with. It can talk about hidden relationships, which I've already explained, that it just you are unaware of it. You never bothered asking about the person in depth, and you find out eventually after becoming intimate that the person has like a whole family somewhere in another country maybe, or just somewhere else. It can also mean that you are hiding your private life from your partner because they are possessive and controlling. That could also be. It can also mean that you or your spouse can get frequent food poisoning. There could be phobias related to sound and heights. You or your partner. You can also find a lot of relief in alternative therapies and homeopathy. There could also be nervous diseases related to nervous system. Okay. So that's roughly what all can happen if you have Rahu in the 7th house. Moving on to the third question, which is, are soulmates real? What if you break up with a soulmate? Yes, soulmates are real. And as per Vedic astrology, whoever you meet, interact with in this life is a soulmate. You have known them from before, and you're either reaping a good karma with them or paying off some karmic debt. Now, there are many soulmates, okay? Your sister could be a soulmate. What is soulmate? Soulmate basically is a mate, a friend that teaches you or upgrades your soul. That is, if you allow that to happen. If you sit and sob and sulk, then obviously lessons are not being learned. So if you break up with a soulmate, then the other one will come along. So yeah. Are there any other questions that you guys want me to take? Will Rahu in 7th house give breakup? It can. You have to see all the aspects. But yeah, Rahu, all malefics have a separative tendency. So if things are going fine and it's not so dramatic, then like I said, separative could pan out as you attracting emotionally unavailable people and not being happy with them and then wanting to break away from them, or long distance, or the partner is cheating on you, therefore you want to end the relationship. So it's not always it will end to a breakup, but situations will be such that you would want to separate from your partner. It could even give you a narcissist or a possessive controlling partner who wants to be with them, right? So there is a theme of separation, and the best remedy for it, like I said, is to go inwards and find out about what you want in a partner. You probably already know who you are because you have Ketu in the first. You know what your identity is, but you need to be a little flexible. How flexible? That boundaries has to be learned, how to be assertive, drawing a boundary, like taking it slow. People with Rahu in 7th house should take it slow. Date for a long time. 7th date, 8th date, 10 dates, 15 dates, because Rahu keeps things hidden. So you need to get to know the person really, really well before you get serious or attached. So that's one way to remedy that. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? So if there is any other planet conjunct Rahu, that would mean that that planet does not know how to operate well. For example, if Rahu has Mars next to it, then definitely you have problem with asserting your rights, asserting yourself. You are passive aggressive. So all Martian traits need to be developed and worked upon in this life, and if it won't be worked upon, then you will constantly face lessons which will be opportunities for you to develop those traits, those Martian traits. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, I think, what does Sun in 7th house mean? Very similar. All malefics will give you separative tendencies. So Sun is considered a malefic. I'm not going to say it's purely malefic, but in terms of wanting a union, you need to compromise, and you need to have diplomacy and tact, which Sun does not have. Sun is like, this is me, I am entitled, I know what I want, and that can cause rifts in a relationship. Again, the chart has to be studied. Sun in 7th can also mean that the partner stays far away from you. It can pan out in many ways. But largely, Sun will give separative tendencies too, because it's about you and your ego. There are fears of losing control. As Rahu acts as Shani and Ketu. Yes. Rahu acts like Saturn and Ketu acts like Mars. Yes. But not exactly the same. So there are some nuances. Shani and Mars, the energy archetypes, they can be learned and you can have some sort of control over it. But Rahu, Ketu are external. They are not in your control. They are more divinely orchestrated events that can make you feel a little helpless. So that's the difference. It's really strong because it's connected with your ancestral karma. So you're paying for your ancestors' karma. Rahu Ketu. Rahu being paternal, and Ketu being maternal. What does malefic mean? Very interesting question. Malefic basically means planets. They are basically classified as Mars, Rahu, Shani, Sun, and these are all associated with self and ego and what you want to do. So they create silos in your consciousness, if you're understanding what I'm saying. With these, when you create silos and departments and compartments in your consciousness, you cannot access them freely. You would not know when to exercise it. You would not know yourself completely. So in a way, they can cause hindrance in self-actualization. So that's why they are called malefics, but they have their own positive side as well. Like Sun in 7th house could be long distance, and a lot of people are okay with long distance. They both get to exercise their Sun extensively without feeling stifled, and it works out for both the people. And this day and age, we have so many nuclear relationships. You have live-ins, you have couples living in separate rooms. So it can all work out. But it's just the Vedic astrology lingo. You refer to them as malefics because they are high pith causing aggressive yang planets. Can we find about our twin flame through astrology? Okay, so twin flame is a concept that I tried studying in Vedic astrology, but all I could find is that there are soulmates and there is no one perfect twin flame. If there is, that's your D9 chart. But like I said, in this lifetime, you would be very lucky to find someone that has their D1 chart exactly the same as your D9 chart, right? And the second problem with this would be that the timing, the birth timing. Most people do not have accurate birth timing. You can, whatever timing you know, can still be used to find out a lot about yourself. But for very detailed and accurate predictions, the Lagna timing nobody has. What is Lagna? Lagna is basically when you take your first breath, not when you're fully out of your mom's vagina, not when the umbilical cord is cut. It's your first breath. That's why it's called Lagna, because your mind and body are now connected with the first pran that you take in. So I don't think we record timing in hospitals by that logic. So It's silly to get too attached to predictions and when will I find my soulmate and who is my soulmate. You should be open. There are many ways to work out your karma. You don't really need just a twin flame. Yes, Lagna is the first breath. Yes. So there's a whole market around twin flame, like crystal healings, affirmations, people doing courses on how to attract and manifest your twin flame. Please do not wait for someone else to start your life. You have you to find out who you are, and everything else will take place. It'll fall in place. Any other questions? Breakup with soulmate, I explained, right? It doesn't matter. You put up with your soulmate as much as you can. Keep reflecting on the journey. It'll be tough. Most soulmate journeys that you remember are tough. A happy soulmate journey nobody remembers. But like I said, everyone you meet and who are a part of your life, you have a past life connection with them. It's either good karma or bad karma. Once that exchanged and met and finished, you lose touch. Organically, you lose touch. And if there are more lessons to be learned, you'll attract another one. So literally don't obsess over that one person that you're drawn to and it's not working out and you're waiting and you're waiting. Don't do that. Reflect, learn the lessons, the etheric cords will loosen and you will feel that you can move on. Can we know about upcoming relationship through astrology? Again, that would involve prediction, and I just told you that it's dicey. You can get an astrologer to predict that, who's coming next, what they'll be like. But really, to have that image and then scan people, that's not the point of astrology. The point of astrology is how are you resolving your own karmas? Who are you interacting with? What are they contributing to your soul growth? What are you contributing to their soul growth? How to find a perfect one? There is no perfect anything. What is the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame? I just said that soulmate is anyone you meet. Like you and I are interacting, we are soulmates. You had to ask something and I had to give you some knowledge in return from past life, which is due. So I'm doing that now. So there are many soulmates. Your sister can be a soulmate. Your mother can be a soulmate. Mothers are mostly very strong soulmates. Family is the strongest soulmate that you can ever have, because you have literally no control about where you're going to be born. So a lot of blockages can be resolved by simply working out your karma with your family, which is the toughest thing to do. Where to study astrology if you can't afford courses? There's YouTube. There are a lot of books online. I can DM you and share a bunch of people you can follow and start learning. But I would suggest you to learn Vedic astrology. Those are the leads that I'll have. Who are the 3 lucky winners? Can we know about our past life through? Yeah, of course. Ketu is your past lives, multiple lives, not just one life. Whatever fears you're carrying and can possibly get activated in this life is Ketu. So, yeah, you can learn a lot. Moon and Ketu, I'll say. Also, childhood trauma. Is it possible to make someone fall in love with us? These questions are becoming beyond philosophical. Are you in love with yourself? If you are, you will attract someone who will love you back. That's how it works. Sometimes it's about obsessing less about the other person and obsessing more about yourself in a healthy way, not in a narcissistic fashion. Just know more about yourself and you'll find some crap, but still love yourself. If you are able to do that, the other people will also do that because they are just mirrors. They reflect back the energy you project. So, can we share questions? Yeah, people are sharing questions. Does your behavior in this life depend on past life or just psychological experience in this life? Yeah. So, retrograde planets are highly indicative of some past life lessons that you need to learn in this life, and it obviously carries certain psychological makeup that you are required to change. What would we call Ketu in English? South node. South node of the moon. How to heal your inner child? Many ways. You can go for cognitive behavioral therapy. They ask you a series of questions. You have to be very open about your feelings. And then they slowly make you very rational and objective about how you feel, and they try to shift your perspective about how you see the trauma and use those lessons more constructively. Then there is hypnotherapy. If there are some repressed destructive emotions you're carrying from your childhood and you're not even aware, like a lot of phobias, they're inexplicable, right? Most of them, if you go for hypnotherapy, you'll find out it has something to do with past life or very early childhood when you had little to no control over your environment. So glad you like it, Chanda. When will I get married? I don't know. These questions, I can't take these questions, right? How to heal your inner child, done. Dyutima, did I answer your question completely? Does your behavior in this life depend on past lives or just psychological experience in this life? Was I? Like you said, your mother can be your soulmate. Similarly, if you have some issues in relationship with your mom, does it can be something of past life? And of course it can be cured. But really it depends. Like if you have an abusive mother, like physically abusive mother, or a narcissistic mother, and it's damaging your psyche, then obviously some distance must be maintained and you need to heal. You can't be taking on bad behavior from a soulmate just because they are soulmates. So you need to protect your own energy first, and if it's not such a threat, then you can definitely be around her, talk to her, even from a distance. You can, safe distance, you can resolve pending karma. I have one more question. Does a weak Mercury in a girl's chart mean her partner can be impotent and be weak? Depends where the Mercury is, what all it signifies. It's different for different people. So your entire chart needs to be studied properly, and not just D1 chart, D9 chart also, which is your spouse's chart. Weak as in overall weak personality. Again, same answer. And what is weak personality really? Someone who's a little more passive, a little more feminine? What is your definition of weak? And how is that weak, really? Why would you desire a more aggressive partner? So some fine-tuning needs to be done in that question. Most welcome. Okay. All questions answered. So now, who gets the free relationship attachment style report? So we have 3 winners. Hi. Just wanted to say love your energy and everything you do. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. Most welcome. So our first winner is Sadhna Kini. Is she here? The second one is Mountain Dew. Please don't jump off your balcony, Mountain Dew. You've been very anxious about this. Third winner is Anam Tehzeeb. Yeah. So guys, please DM me your email IDs. Make sure you have given your birth details also, and I will mail you the report as soon as I can. Most welcome. Okay guys, thanks a lot. No more questions, right? Bye. Take care.